Here we are, another episode of the Weekly Pulse. Joe Horseman here, sitting here with Jeff Wynot. We're several episodes in. Today we have a big personality in Highland.
Wow.
Yes, you are. So
you had no idea.
You did know. Don't. You're so bashful.
I am.
You are just like me. But we've got Tracy Reekman here. Tracy is the chairman. What would you label yourself with Leaps of Love?
Founder, president, jack of all trades, one-man band. I got all kinds of names
Master
for
of
me.
none?
Master
Okay.
of none.
All right.
I feel like you have this whole thing mastered. You've been doing it for a long time.
I have been doing it for a long
so
time.
you have to have something mastered to be doing it as long as you have.
Yeah. How long? How long you been
I
doing
started
this?
Leaps of Love in May of 2010.
Okay. Well, why don't you start off by telling us about Leaps of Love?
Leaps of Love, I think, is an amazing organization. I service or embrace, I like to call it, families affected by childhood brain tumors and late effects of childhood cancer. There's so many different cancers out there, but when I was approached by Children's Hospital back in 2009, they were looking for someone that would focus just on brain tumor families because they are the ones, and I shouldn't say that, struggle the most, but have the most late effects because once you start treating chemotherapy or radiation to the brain, and then the younger the child is, the more effects it's going to have on them for the rest of their life. They are living longer, which is amazing. Things have come a long way in that aspect, but there is downfalls. It is a lifelong sentence from the day they are diagnosed with any kind of cancer in a childhood because of their developing as young ages. So I decided to take the leap of faith and open Leaps of Love just for brain tumors and late effects of childhood cancer and helping them maintain going to the doctor. You know, they may say that your cancer is in remission or it is no evidence of cancer, but there again, they need to keep up with all of their maintenance checkups and stuff because the reality of them relapsing or getting a second cancer is 85% or more. So they need to keep on that, and us as a organization try to keep in contact with these families for the rest of their child's life of, hey, how's your appointments going? Are you still going? You know, here's a retreat. Here's another fundraiser that we do or another event that we do to keep them all in contact with each other. So it's an outside support system of the hospital as well so that they can maintain a support system with other families.
Go a little bit closer.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Keep going.
You're good.
That they can maintain a support system outside of the hospital environment and talking to other families that are going through things kind of triggers them a little more to keep on contact with that. So I do a huge event the first week in August, the first Saturday in August at the Highland Speedway, the Leaps of Love Night at the races, which now has turned into a weekend. But it's a great way. I usually have in the last 8 years, I've had 40 or more families come to that event every year. And they say it's a wonderful kind of family reunion to get together with everybody, kind of discuss, hey, this happened to my child. Does that ever happen to yours? And just the camaraderie and the support that they give to each other, I think keeps them on track of keeping them up to date. And if some child does relapse, they can have somebody to talk to about it before, you know how it is. You don't want to call the doctor because you might look stupid or is that a dumb question or, you know, what can we do? So
would you say you're the conduit between other families that are going through this? And then from a financial perspective, do you guys assist with any of the needs that they have, or are you more of the moral and like kind of what role is?
We do help financially sometimes. There's so many resources out there for childhood cancer. So I always try to promote and get them contacted with their social workers that there are resources out there for this. But anything that we know that is falling behind, or if there's some kind of equipment that they need that isn't handled by insurance or whatever, we're always there to fall back on. I have bought bikes in the past. I have bought, different kinds of bikes that they need for therapy, or I've bought Wii's back when the Wii was real big, to help with different kinds of therapies that they can do at home. So we're kind of like a sounding board of whatever other resources they can't get, that we kind of fall upon that.
And you give some moral support too. I know when I was in the pageant, you at times you would look for some help within the some of the guys that were helping out going over to the Children's Hospital, maybe as the Easter Bunny and stuff. So are you doing that just as a moral cause to kind of keep their spirits high?
Yes, definitely. Anything that I can do. Before COVID hit, I was over at the hospital at least 2 or 3 times a week. Anytime that a family needs to meet with the team of doctors that they have, I try to go there and say, okay, if you need to go meet with the team of doctors, you guys go do that. If you have their siblings there or the child on treatment, I'll come and sit with them so that you can focus on that and I can help with that. Always helping them with gas cards to get back and forth. Insurance is amazing at times, but people don't understand, it doesn't take care of every expense that they have. They still have to eat while they're there. They still have to get there, whether it's some kind of transportation or gas alone. So always trying to help with that kind of stuff. A lot of times, especially COVID, everybody was out of toilet paper and paper towels. So I would regularly have them sent to different people.
You were the hoarder? Are you the one that everyone
I kind of was a hoarder to help out other families.
Good for you, though.
So anything that I can do, COVID was amazing. I know I really thought, and a lot of other organizations I talked to really kind of took them down or took them out. I used whatever resources I could to keep it going and help them in any way we can. We went through all of the toys that were in my office at the time, and we found all these board games and stuff like that. So I sent out, I think it was 23 board games, and then I called them on one night, okay, we're having family board night, game night. So we kind of had like a little Zoom session, and everybody, they were either playing Chutes and Ladders with little kids or Monopoly or Risk, but everybody kind of got together and they talked about their family night. So anything to keep the camaraderie going with these families is what I like to do.
That's great.
I was going to say, before we get into the lapse of love, or lapse for leaps.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, a lot of L's going on in there. What is it that made you decide to start this? Like, is there a specific event or somebody? Or
my mother had breast cancer. She started out with breast cancer. She had that probably only for like 9 months, and then we found 5 inoperable brain tumors. So they gave her like 6 to 9 months to live after that. Once she had passed from that, my father encouraged me to go help his kids here in town as well. They're a wonderful organization. They have an amazing camp that I send a lot of kids over that way if they're not familiar with it yet. So I worked there for 10 years, and that's when St. Louis Children's Hospital kind of asked if there would be a way to, somebody help with these late effects or keep families up with the late effects. And that's when I decided to take the leap.
Okay, awesome.
And your major source of funding, is that fundraisers?
It's fundraisers and individuals, businesses. The Highland community is amazing. They have been so supportive of me throughout the years. And you say fundraisers. I always like to do different fundraisers, as you know.
Oh, I know.
We've had crazy golf. We've had so many different things. I like to do different fundraisers. And sometimes like crazy golf doesn't make as much as a huge golf tournament, but it gets people talking about it, and it's something different. The men's beauty pageant, the Miss LOL pageant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever, Helga. But it gets people talking, and if people are talking, then I know that the childhood cancer awareness is getting out there, even if it's something silly that Leaps of Love does. Childhood cancer only gets 4% of national research funding, which is ridiculous to me. I always say Susan G. Komen is, whoever her marketer was amazing, and I wish childhood cancer could find somebody with that kind of ability too, because these are the children of our future, and they're only getting 4%. So maybe they're living longer, and I hate to say this, but a lot of them cognitively cannot function, in a productive kind of way. I mean, they're amazing in so many different other kind of ways, though. I mean, they have taught me so much in the last 15 years. I have really grown by doing this myself. So we just got to get the childhood cancer awareness, got to get that 4% up there. And if nobody knows anything about Leaps of Love, as long as they know that childhood cancer needs this, that's what it's all about.
Well, as popular as this podcast is, this is where it all starts. It's getting ready. It's getting ready to take off on a new level here.
Well,
So,
good. I'm excited.
Surprise!
Yeah. So, well, then let's get into your next big event that you got coming up, which is on October 19th.
18th and 19th. It's another unusual fundraiser. We've looked everywhere. Well, my son is the ramrod of all this, so Brady has looked everywhere. On a dirt track, this has never been done. It's the 24-hour Laps for Leaps, and it's street cars that go around the track for 24 hours to compete for the most laps in that kind of way. He has a team. There's 10 of them on the committee, and they brought this to me and said, let's do this fundraiser. It's going to be amazing. It's never been done before. We want to try it out. And I'm like, well, explain it to me. And it's like 24 hours. They're going to go around. And I'm like, that sounds so boring. I mean, come on. Like, who's going to want to come to this and who's going to want to do this? So they're like, no, you don't understand. We're also going to do challenge hours and add some fun things to it. And I'm like, okay. Sounding a little bit more intriguing. Let's check it out. Let's see what we can do. So they're put it all together. And like I said, they are 10 amazing guys that had this goal of getting this fundraiser off of the ground in the very first year that they did this. And it was amazing. I will have to say, my adrenaline was going the whole time because I thought, well, what hours am I going to sleep? I did not want to sleep at all the very first year. I was up for, I think it was like 38 hours straight. My adrenaline was going. It was crazy. The challenge hours were more fun than I thought they were going to be. We do like parallel parking kind of toward the end of the event. So a lot of them don't have power steering anymore or brakes. So it's fun to see them try to get into that one spot. We have one parking spot out there and 40 cars have to compete to park in it twice within an hour. So there's a little bumping and going on there. And
parallel parking's so easy anyway.
Yeah. Doesn't your car do that for you?
Yeah. Does now, but not in these cars. These cars are a little different. We had the chicane hour, which I didn't understand that either, but they put out all these barrels out there, so they had to weave in and out them. So some cars thought, I don't want to do that. They'd go around it. So the guys got a little bit more creative, and they went out there and started moving around so that they had to go around them or had to hit them. And you know, that still was kind of getting a little, they were making some moves out there. So what else to do? We threw out a giant beach ball. So then that was kind of in the way, but a life-size beach ball out there flying around, and they're trying to have to go through cones. And the first year we wanted them to do the tomato, which they would have had to drive their car backwards. Well, the very first year when we started doing this, the cars started falling apart sooner than we thought. So instead of going in reverse, we had them go around the track actually backwards. Instead of making left turns, they had to make right turns, which I'm like, well, that ain't going to be so bad. And it was funny because some of the guys that did it that hour are actually race car drivers, and they're like, that was the toughest thing I've ever done in my life.
I believe it.
I'm like, yeah. So
how is money raised for this event?
So all 40 teams that are out there are competing also for the most money raised and getting out the awareness of childhood cancer. Last year, the 40 teams hit over $100,000 in just fundraising alone. My 40 teams right now are sitting at 84,000. So they got another week and a half that they're going to try to hit their goal, which I think is amazing. It's pretty much them trying to help me raise awareness. I got 40 teams out there that a lot of them have never heard of, or shouldn't say heard of childhood cancer, but weren't aware of it. And now they're getting their friends and family aware of childhood cancer. So it's just spreading and spreading and spreading. We actually have a team coming from Kentucky this year.
Oh, cool.
So that's pretty fun to even know that it's going even further and further and further.
Are people in Highland and around the area welcome to come out and watch this?
Gosh.
I mean,
we are encouraging this. Like I said, I thought it was really boring. Last year, we doubled in our people that came to the stands. So we're anxious to get more and more people there. And it's a cheap family fun event. It's $10 to get into the grandstand. 12 and under are free. There's a kids zone. We have bounce houses. We have the basketball hoop thing that they had at the fair this year. We have RC car track down there so the kids can do their own racing on their RC cars down in the pits or down in the kids zone. They had so much fun doing that last year, so we're bringing it back this year. We've got food trucks coming. We got Smoke and Snows and Tucker Family Concessions, so we'll have the corn dogs and the funnel cakes and just all of that. The Sharpshooters got the beer stand open. We'll have coffee and breakfast in the morning, so whatever time you want to come out in the morning. You buy a wristband. Like I said, it's $10 in the grandstand, 12 and under free. If you want to come in the pits, it is $20 for all ages to get into the pits for liability reasons. But if keep your wristband on, you can come and go as much as you want. Stay all night. I don't care because I'll be there. We do have camping on the south side. So if you have a camper and you want to come into the area and stay for the whole weekend, I think it's $25 a night for electric and water. So pretty cheap to do that as well. But we just got all kinds of fun things going on. After the race, we have a DJ that's going to be there. Probably he'll start right at 7:30 because it takes us a little time to tally up the laps. Because the fun thing about this is they could have the most laps, but if they're close, the challenge hours that we do, they can either lose laps or gain laps depending on how they do on their challenge. So it could be a matter of if you did well in the challenge hours or if you didn't, could make or break where you stand in the positions.
Gotcha.
So are these guys pretty competitive with this? I mean, I assume there's got to be some that are.
There are, but you know what's even funnier is because there's some teams that are out there that have never been on a racetrack before. And it's amazing to see the ones that have been out there and do it are very respectful when they're on the track. Like they'll go around them and kind of cruise around, but then they'll go to the next one and they'll race.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me. And even in the pits, when somebody breaks down, and they break down a lot, everybody's helping each other because they want each one to be just as productive, because every lap that they're making, they have to have a lap sponsor, which could be as little as a penny a lap. So every lap that they're making money for the organization. So everybody is helping everybody to get as many laps as they can for each other. So it's competing, but yet.
Yeah. How many laps does like the average team get in? Just so somebody has an idea if they were to donate, like, oh yeah, I give $5 a lap. Whoa.
Exactly. So I do have that. So a penny a lap. Last year, I even brought that just to make sure I did it right. The very first year, we only had 24 cars, and the top one had 3,361 laps.
Okay, so yeah, so if you're going to go $5 a lap, just be ready.
Well, there's an episode of The Office where Michael Scott makes a donation the same way, and everyone's like, wow, I can't believe you donated that much. And he didn't know what he was such an idiot anyway.
Well, once we added 40 cars, the top one last year was 2,636. So if you did a penny a lap, that's $26.36. So it's a cheap way to help. And it's a more exciting way to help, because if you give a penny or a nickel or whatever, you want to go out there and make sure that they're making their laps. So I encourage anybody, if they know somebody that has a team, be a lap sponsor. Like I said.
And they still have time to do that, right?
They have until that Saturday night, the 18th, till 6 o'clock if they want to sponsor. We shut everything down at 6 o'clock that night. But yeah, if you want to come out and you like team number 24, go sign up and be a lap sponsor.
List of...
It's on our Facebook.
Okay, is there a way to, like, say somebody doesn't know somebody that's in the race, but they want to sponsor somebody? Is there a way that they can do that?
Definitely. Everything is all over. We have a Facebook page, the 24-hour Laps for Leaps. Everything is on there. If they don't, they can call the office. I can walk them through whatever they need to do. Even if you don't have a team and you want to be an event sponsor, we love all of them as well. So you can go anywhere from a penny to $1 million if you like.
Well, we'll make sure we put that information out.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments.
Okay,
and
awesome.
Make sure it's on Facebook.
Yes,
and stuff.
like I said, it's a very family friendly. We had a lot of people, a lot of guys come last year, and they're like, "Oh, so if my wife comes, like $10, and the kids can play all day," and I'm like, "Have at it." So it's a great family fun day.
What time should someone? This is Friday night.
This is Friday night.
When should a family come out if they're going to want to come?
The gates will open at 5 p.m. The race starts exactly at 7 o'clock. So the green flag will drop at 7, and then checker flag is at 7:00 Saturday night. So they'll just be racing the whole time through. You can come. Last year I had 6 people show up at the Pitch Shack at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, you just thought of this? Like, where have you come from?
For anyone that has insomnia, this feels like the perfect thing.
It
If you can't sleep, get up and go out
Just
to the
go watch
racetrack,
cars.
right?
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking for volunteers. Any kind of volunteers, if you want to help in the grandstand booth, the Pitch Shack booth. I am looking for any kind of groups, organization, businesses, people that need community service hours. We're always looking for people to help in the kids zone or, helping with merchandise. We have all kinds of things to do. Even if you've never been and you've always wanted to work at the racetrack, we have people that have come last year. It was so cute. Just wanted to help on the track. So they got to open the gates when the cars came in and off the track on gate 3 and 4. They were living the dream. We had one guy even be the flag guy for a couple hours. And he's like, I've never done this before. And I'm like, welcome to racing. It is.
Just being out there and looking up into the stands. It's a different feeling.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. So I encourage anybody, volunteer, come out.
Yeah. So the nice thing is there's a ton of ways to be involved, whether it's just donate something, help out, even if you don't want to donate, but you just want to come help raise money.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And bring your family out for a fun day or fun.
The kids also
36 hours, 24 hours.
Thinking about that too. We have a balloon launch. So in turn 2, you can buy 10 water balloons for $5 and shoot at the cars while they're going around. So it's always something entertaining to do.
Okay.
So is that list of the hourly things out there too?
Yes, it's on the Facebook page too, and I'll be pumping it all week long.
Okay. And then again, the date is this a week from Friday coming up here?
Well, we're putting this out on Monday.
That's right.
So,
I'm not used to that yet, Jeff. I'm sorry.
It's
okay.
Well, it is for me right now.
It will be, when you see this, it will be this Friday.
It will be Friday the 18th.
So it's Friday night. We'll just say it's Friday night.
It's Friday night the 18th.
When it is.
Yeah.
18th and 19th.
If you have any questions, just
go
call the
by
Leaps
dates.
Love
It's
office.
easier just to say dates.
Yeah.
Okay. We're new at this.
No, you're all good there.
So,
good.
well, it sounds like an amazing event, and hopefully enough people see this, and
Yep.
we can help
Let's get that
promote
4%.
this. Yeah.